So this is a video about how I launched my own cryptocurrency called Tree, and I want to give you an overview of some of the steps and how long it takes. This isn't an in-depth tutorial. It's more of a high level, what's involved, what kind of applications you need, what kind of experience, and some of the websites and resources that I used. So again, the idea is for my tree token, I wanted to start by creating a project. It's always best not just to create a token for the sake of a token, but to actually have a project with objectives and a bigger picture. And so in my case, this is environmental conservation of forests, basically. Also, if you want to have your token approved by Binance or other directories or major exchanges, you do need to have a website, some sort of Twitter. Twitter is really a good presence to have with some sort of following, and also a white paper is important too, with something that it states your objectives and maybe a bit of a backstory on what your project is all about. So these are all kind of the keys in getting started. Based on my experience, is that again, having a social following is great. I don't have a really big Twitter following yet, but I'm working on it, and I've also launched some NFTs to support my project, which is another component that these days NFTs are really hot. So it's good to have a project including NFTs as well as tokens, as well as white paper for a bigger purpose. And in my case, our team donates a percentage of proceeds to not-for-profit or charities involved in the conservation space. So yeah, so that's, and 10% of NFT proceeds would go to charities as well. So this is a sort of a green, environmentally friendly approach to creating a token and raising money to generate donations to charities for conservation. So how did I do it? Well, I did go to Fiverr and hired somebody who's an expert in Solidity. Solidity is really the coding language that looks a lot like JavaScript. I'm an old school coder, but Solidity is new to me, or was new to me, but it's pretty straightforward if you have any sort of programming experience. But it's not vital. These days you can do things on Fiverr, and I did get a lot of help from a developer there. But this is what it looks like, and there's a great tool called Remix and this is an Ethereum Remix kind of internet development environment, IDE. It's so basically it helps you create the Solidity file, which is a .sol, and really you just need a single file for launching a token, and I think it's maybe 1,000 lines, not even 850 lines, and yeah, that's it. So I'm not going to go into how to actually launch and test the token, but this Remix allows you to you have to compile the code first, and then you have to launch it to an environment on the web, and in this case you want to launch a test environment called Ropstein. You also need to have a MetaMask, which is a wallet, one of the easiest to use wallets, and it's definitely useful in terms of testing your contract. You want to go on the Ropstein test network, for example, which is different than, say, the Ethereum mainnet or Binance. Do your testing on a test network. You can get some, you go to Ropstein faucet here, and you can send yourself some free ether to your wallet address, which is MetaMask. Again, I highly recommend MetaMask just for testing a token. So that's sort of the starting point. Is and you do have to make a lot of decisions on, what's your liquidity, like how many tokens you want to launch. Like in my case, 100 million is sort of a standard number of tokens to launch. But in my case, I only launched 20 million initially, and I'm holding back 80 million. And there are for reasons for that, which I won't go into detail, but it's basically to control a bit of the pricing and make it a reasonable price. It's right now, I think it's at 5 cents a tree. And by releasing fewer tokens, you can make the price slightly higher than reducing all or producing all of them at once, or releasing all of them at once. So there's strategies like that. You kind of learn, basic supply and demand economics. A greater supply of tokens on the market means the price goes down, and lesser supply means the price goes up. So lots to learn here. This is again the Remix. You could do tutorials on that, but it's a great tool for that. And you can launch a token. In my case, I decided to launch on the Binance network. My token, which is you go to bscscan.com. If you get a contract address, which is basically your token address, and if you paste it into the top of BSC Scan, you can get the details on all the transactions for my token or for your token. You can look at the contract. You can see, how many transfers have been made with the token, the value. This actually only shows the value is not showing because it's a smaller decimal, but you can also go to a site called thebittimes.com, where my canopy tree is, and the contract address here is shown. And it's kind of a neat site. It shows the tree price at just under 5 cents a tree, the number of holders. You'll see I'm the 80% I'm holding back, and then there's the 20%, which is 20 million roughly of tokens that are released. And you can see all the holders, the biggest holders first, which is basically, I've got the main liquidity pool, but then there's other holders. I think I've got like 17 holders because I've just launched it, or 15 or 17, I can't remember which. Anyway, it'll tell you all that here. Yeah, so this is kind of neat. And so the goal is to get listed on the Binance directory, BSC Scan. And this is the Binance Smartchain network versus the Ethereum network. Binance is the transaction fees are a lot cheaper in terms of selling and buying tokens, and the volume of transactions is very high. That's why I went with the Binance network versus Ethereum. The Ethereum network, the fees are several $100s to do trades, which would mean that your investors would have to invest at least thousands of dollars, real dollars, to make it worth their while with the transaction fees. So I went with Binance. It lowers the entry risk for new tokens, and it's there's lots of volume and lots of activity. I also do offer on my website the option to add liquidity and make money with my token by adding liquidity and getting a regular rate of return. And that's a whole separate kind of video. But anyone into crypto knows you can buy tokens, but you can also invest or stake tokens and offer liquidity, which allows you to earn a rate of return. So here's the pro level: invest by adding liquidity. And PancakeSwap is a great is the leading site, or they call it a DApp, decentralized application, that allows you to add liquidity to tokens and not just buy them, which means again you get a return on your investment. So that's a pretty awesome thing. And you'll see how you do that is you basically pair two tokens, like BNB is the Binance token, and tree, and you can add, in this case it wants me to switch my network on MetaMask. You always have to be logged into your wallet when you're doing this, and in order to access your BNB. I've got 0.01 BNB, but say I wanted to add liquidity, I'd add my BNB, and I could see for that amount of BNB I have, which is a very small amount, you know, I could add only half a tree, so not very much. But normally, yeah, I'd have a higher balance of BNB. You could add, you know, 10 BNB, and that would equate to maybe a couple thousand trees at 5 cents each, a more significant amount, and then hit supply. So why do that? Then you benefit from, if BNB goes up, you can make some returns, but also you get paid. You get paid basically on a regular basis, returns in the token cake on PancakeSwap. So it's another way to make money. I, for example, offer liquidity to Cake and BNB, and I'm in a pool, or it's called a farm. So I'm staking liquidity pairs, LP liquidity pairs of tokens to PancakeSwap. Anyway, long story short is it's basically another investment tool. Rather than just buying tokens, you can stake them and invest in liquidity pools and make returns in a different way, but get an annual percentage return that's better than your bank by a long ways. And yeah, and then you can also harvest your returns, which is the cake. Cake is the token of PancakeSwap. And it's PancakeSwap, I believe, is the leading DApp, or decentralized application for the Binance network. So yeah, so overall, probably took me a month or two to figure out Remix, I found a developer on Fiverr to help me with the main coding. Lots of testing on the Ropstein network. Finally got the token launched. Created a project website with a white paper. Our team had some NFTs. NFTs I launched on OpenSea, which again, it supports my cause, and that Cubs on Stumps. I've got 13 items right now, and basically, yeah, these I priced at 0.1 Ethereum each, except for the original one, which is 1 Ethereum. And it's just another way to round out your project to offer some NFTs. And that's, again, a separate YouTube video, but it's the hot item right now, it seems. And you know, if you build a Twitter following and you start to promote them, then yeah, you can you know, definitely make some money, not only in the sale of NFTs, but I get 10% commission each time they get resold on OpenSea. The only thing is, this is an Ethereum network application where the listing fees are probably $200, $300, $400 to get listed for the first time on OpenSea. But once you're listed and you've done that, you can mint or create NFTs, or as many NFTs as you want, and you don't pay the fees. Actually, the buyer pays the fees. It's embedded in the price. So yeah, that's another aspect of NFTs, are a whole different animal, but that's lots of videos out there on how to generate these multiple images of, you know, I got an artist to do these bears, and it's quite a fun project to mess around with, you know, how to create unique art. And then, you know, you create a little story for each one. Again, this is around old growth forest being destroyed in British Columbia. That's my project that I'm raising money for. So yeah, do have a look at the NFTs. If you're interested, do look at, you can install the MetaMask wallet and switch to the Binance Smartchain. and you can add my token. You can import new tokens here at the bottom of MetaMask, and then you get the token address, which is that kind of looks like a funny long URL if you're not familiar with that. Invest in tokens, and here's the address right here for the token contract address. So yeah, so there's farms, there's NFTs, there's my project site, and here's a few other resources that you might want to look at when you are creating your own token. And there's also BitBuy for Canadians for another wallet option to manage your currency. Yeah, hope you enjoy it. Leave any comments down below. Thanks.